All right, welcome, welcome, welcome. Hello, 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 hello. Welcome to the rAVe Esports Show with me, Bubba Gaeddert. I am so excited that you're here today. We've got a fun show today with a very amazing and fun guest who we get to have probably too much fun, as he calls me the Santa of esports. And it's either because of my beard or because of my belly, but I'm gonna go with both. But thank you guys so much for being here today. Man, I'm pumped because it's like Christmas, like almost tomorrow, or in 4 or 5 days, 4 days. And if you celebrate Christmas, that's awesome. If you celebrate other things, that's awesome. And there's also New Year's to celebrate, resolutions we won't follow. But I'm pumped because if you guys are in the chat and you are doing something fun for Christmas, please let me know. Let me know in the chat if you are out there and you're gonna go visit family, you're going to visit friends, you're gonna eat way too much. That's probably what I'll do, all of those. But man, hey, the rAVe Esports Show is in our 4th episode today. It is the final episode of the year, and we've had a ton of fun. We've had Gary K from rAVe Agency, rAVe Pubs on. We've had Mike and Christy from Generation Esports with Curriculum. We've had Kevin and Andrew from Extron, and had a lot of fun learning about what they do, and which was also one of our sponsors. Extron is one of our sponsors, as well as Neutrik. And just big thanks to them, because it's without them, we don't have the show. And also without Carrie Lartz and Gary K, we don't have the show either. And I'm just the guy who just gets hit buttons and talk. So it's super simple for me. They do all the hard work. And I'm super pumped because in the next part of the year, well, the next year, because that's things that people say is see you next year, obviously. In January and February, we're gonna have a lot more shows. We're gonna have some guests from Neutrik. We're gonna have some people talking about the metaverse. We're gonna have some people talking about college esports, some pros, some other nonprofit directors like myself in the gaming space. They're going to talk about diversity, equity, inclusion, and it's going to be fun. And we're going to have that information out for you guys to be able to know what's going on and who's going to be there. But yeah, definitely if you're in the chat, say hello. We're going to jump into the show here today, but I wanted to make sure you guys know that this show is actually a part of a challenge for esports and gaming for students. And that's with the Video Games and Esports Foundation, the foundation that I get to run. If you are in the chat, you can use !VEF in the chat, and that will show up as a link where you can take the rAVe challenge. You can take the rAVe challenge and donate, and I'll be able to see that, and we'll be able to recognize those who donate and show some support back to you. But yeah, the Video Games and Esports Foundation is a nonprofit 501c3 charity that supports students, gamers, game developers, educators, game designers, streamers, and other organizations out there to support them with grants, scholarships, and opportunities. And we have lots of data, and we just try to collect as much information in one spot and put it out there available for you guys to use, so that you can convince educators or convince administrators or parents about the value of gaming, and also about the addictions and the stigmas around gaming that we look to typically speak against, because there's a lot of stigmas about gamers. But there's also things we want to make sure we call out, like a gaming addiction that is part of the WHO organization, recognized in the WHO organization. So with all that said, the Video Games and Esports Foundation, we love your support. !VEF in the chat, and that link pops up. We'll make sure we get it in there. But today we're gonna have a fun show, because I've got a very fun person, and I'm putting pressure on him right now, obviously, by saying this, but I never have a dull moment hanging out with this guest. But I'm gonna bring on the guest today, and they're going to share with us a little bit about what they do and their organization. And also, we're going to talk about video games probably as well. So I'm going to bring in my amazing guest, Josh Kell. How are you today, sir?
I'm doing well, Bubba. How you doing?
I knew it.
Pull up a chair. It's good out there.
I knew it. I love it. I love it. That you never cease to amaze. And as much as I want to do the accent with you, I know I know I'm gonna mess up just because I'm on like I'm being called out to do it now. So I'm not gonna do it.
Do it,
I,
Bubba.
I do it plenty with my kids, and everywhere I go, and I talk all the time. We went to London a few months ago, and I can't stop speaking in a British accent around everywhere. But I'm not gonna do it because I'm gonna get canceled or something. So,
Oh,
hey, what's up, Death Rude over on Kick? How are you today? Thanks for being here. Well, Josh, man, hey, we're back on a show. I don't think the last time we were on a show was when we played Portal.
we couldn't answer a question.
I like how you mentioned that the other day. We got to get back on so we can actually talk. Otherwise,
Yeah.
because we literally were trying to figure out how to get lasers to shoot across and break things so we could get through a door. That was a ton of fun.
Yeah, next time we're gonna have to play the finals together.
Okay, all right. I even today I was looking at Twitch and I was like, okay, what is finals? You talked about it to me yesterday. I need to know. I need to know what it is. I'm gonna pull it up.
Pull it up. Take a look at it.
I'm gonna watch a trailer. I'm gonna pull up a trailer here and see how it goes. Let's see. Let's take a look here.
So I can sort of walk you through as it's going through. So there's like different rounds, and they're quick rounds too. That's what's great about it. So it's 3v3v3v3. So the object is to bank as much money within the time allotted, or the first team to reach the goal. And so you get money through either vaults or killing the other player, and then you pick up the coins. You can see like the coins and that sort of, and then you have to deposit them. But then, and the whole world can be destroyed too. So you could take down buildings and stuff.
Oh wow!
Oh yeah, it's wild. It's awesome. It's fast paced too, like really fast paced.
Why was that a Bitcoin Dogecoin mask?
Kind of, yeah.
MetaMask.
Yeah. So I've been like playing a lot of this recently. So there's a vault right there that's carrying money. And then you got to take that to the deposit. And then, and what's crazy is you could be in the middle of taking a deposit for the money, and then a half a second, someone else can come in and take it. Like you're sitting there trying to, well, there's a couple different versions. There's like defending, and then if you defend that area, you get those coins. That's called cash in, and the other one's called bank it, which is just constantly trying to put money in those things. Those are like the units to put in. It's pretty fun.
Interesting. Okay.
All right. So.
Yeah, it looks really fun. It looks really fun. Wow. Hey Kyle, hello, welcome over on Twitch. How are you, man? Glad you're here. I think you're at a hotel. Hey, there's Kevin Diltz over on LinkedIn. Hey Kevin, how are you? From Extron, saying what's up. Good to see you, man. Okay, so yeah, I'd be down. I'd be down to play that. I know we'll probably get together and play that for sure.
Yeah.
That could be the one we play. Now, if that's a game we play and we do invite sent show, is there enough downtime between for us to ask questions?
Oh yeah, because you're queuing for stuff in between.
Okay.
And sometimes the queues take like 3-4 minutes.
Okay.
So
So that's what you're into right now. So people get to know you a little better. And I know I've asked you this question on other shows. Like, what was your first video game you ever played?
My first, well, definitely the Zelda series is by far the one that I've invested in the most over time. So anything Zelda related, all the way up to Tears of the Kingdom, I've played through pretty much everything.
Okay.
First game.
What then? So did that carry on through high school, college? Was Zelda the main go-to game, or did you have something else?
Yeah, so in college, Counter-Strike 1.3, 4, 5, 6, all those. And that's when I started playing competitively.
Okay.
Within Counter-Strike. And then come 2008, 2009, heavily invested a ton of time into World of Warcraft. I mean, a lot of time into World of Warcraft. So that's my succession. Now I'm trying to do minimal game play.
Uh-huh.
I still play a lot of Rust. I
Okay.
have right now, since last year, 1,200 hours into Rust right now.
Wow,
So
1,200.
thank you, Steam, for reminding me
Let's
how
see.
much I play a game.
1,200 hours in days. Let's see. That is
That's
50 days.
Yeah, that's 50 days. That's half. That's so there's in a 40-hour work week. There's 2,080 hours in a 40-hour work week throughout the year. So I've played half of a job. If you want, just saying, actually greater than half of a job.
Well,
So.
how do you think your World of Warcraft time adds up then?
Oh, way more than that.
Way more than that.
Way more. I mean, it's probably years. I mean, I'm talking like, I would play at the height, like Wrath of the Lich King. I would be raiding 3 to 4 hours every night. I would say 4 to 5 days a week. It was a lot.
So and I haven't played the new mode, not Dragonflight, but the where you go to level 25. I was just watching Kyle here on stream do the other day. What is that called? The
new expansion? Are you talking about the new expansion?
Yeah, the thing where the top level is level 25.
See, I stopped after Shadowlands.
Okay.
That for me, I didn't do anything in Dragon.
Kyle, in the chat, somebody want to tell me what that is? I'm trying to Google it.
Yeah, my WoW days. I still keep my account active, but I did not play the last expansion.
Discovery, Season of Discovery.
Oh,
okay.
I'll have to look at. I'm actually doing Warcraft Rumble, which is on.
I play that quite a bit. Yeah, when I'm not doing other things, I'm definitely playing that. Yeah, I'm definitely. I like it.
Time.
Well, it actually is. I see.
Yeah, okay. You got that.
I mean, my certain downtime is
enjoying this, and fellow AV integrator, all my peers are like, this guy.
My certain downtime is TikTok. That is for sure what it is.
Yeah.
That's funny. Well, I think the Season of Discovery, from what I understand, is you can be a different, like a mage, but be a Tauren or something. I don't know. You can swap and learn different specialty skills of classes.
What, across different races?
Yeah, I think
what?
I'm right.
Oh, so if a race is not a particular class,
I guess somebody want to correct me. I don't. I've only heard these things.
You can be like, well, that doesn't like. So you could be a night elf paladin.
Maybe. We'll have to research it. This show is not always the most truthful and accurate, but we're guessing, right?
We're just throwing stuff, see what sticks.
So World of Warcraft and okay, and you in your lab there, your studio, that is your
all this stuff.
I wanna if you can find it or send it. I want to find an image, and you may have sent it to me before, of your studio, of your podcast area, like
the podcast, the tavern.
Like, didn't you have the tavern where you have like 6 PC setups, maybe? Yeah,
it's changed. Well, originally it was designed for tabletop, and we had like 7 or 8 cameras around, and so we built, like, what's behind me, that is a fireplace, but that's all foam work, right? What our scenic people do.
Okay.
And so we'll build the sets for stuff. But all of it's foam work. Like it's down now, but we had a chandelier, and that, like, a big wooden, looked like in a tavern chandelier. We had the little Marshall cameras stuck inside, so it was a top-down view. So you can actually see the table, because the table for the tabletop had a 55-inch touchscreen in it. And so the DM was they also had touchscreen. And so if we were going, like, into a swamp in the story, everything in here would turn green, and we had smoke machines, and they would come out in, like, fog, and like, we had the atmosphere elements. So we were kind of doing stuff that was like Critical Role, but then taking it to the next level with AV. Like that's because that's really what we are, right? We're an integrator.
What's the Twitch channel that it was on?
What's that?
What was the Twitch channel? that you guys?
It was on Esports Integration, so it was called The Table in the Tavern. We had one episode, and then COVID hit, and so everything went. Then and we couldn't get together anymore, so it was like, well,
the besties thing, right? Wasn't it the?
Then yeah. So Table and Tavern was the tabletop, and then then during COVID, we started a show called Questies with Besties, and that was World of Warcraft. That went on for
because hardcore or not hardcore, but classic vanilla came out, right?
That's what we did. We ran through classic, then classic BC, Burning Crusade, and then we started Wrath of the Lich King, and then kind of fizzled out from there.
Yeah, I thought it was really cool your whole setup, man. I thought that was so much fun to be able to see that, and yeah, it was also. I think it just makes everybody jealous because they want to touch and be there and see all that cool stuff that you're able to do. Is that at your house or is that at a studio?
It's at our office. So in our office,
right?
we have 3 studios. We have this one, we have a green screen, we have our product review studio, and then we have like a big direct view LED wall where we do like Unreal Engine integration and motion tracking stuff.
Wow.
We don't get to use that as much as we like to. Yeah, that's a cool set.
Well, I want to jump into I want to show off some of these things that you guys have done, and then circle around and talk about AV and the industry and also curriculum when we come back to the second part. But I wanted to show off all these really cool images that you sent me and videos, and I'm going to start with this video of University of North Carolina, Greensboro, and I'm going to pull that up here. And I'd love for you to walk me through a little bit of this build, and then we'll obviously look at some other ones here.
So we're doing director's cut. Is that what we're doing?
Director's cut, yeah.
Commentating, director's commentating. So this is a drone shot.
Okay.
This is a drone shot.
See what we did here. We let me tell a long story because I'm a director. Anyways, yeah. I can't watch those things.
Sorry. I'm sorry. I gotta focus.
How about a presentation cut? There we go.
Yeah. Ready. Okay. Presentation cut. Yeah. So UNC Greensboro had come to us just before the pandemic, and we kind of walked them through our process of, they wanted to bring esports into the space. So the goals and the objects of this particular space were focus on community, to focus on academics and curriculum, and then how do they bring a good competition space. So here we have different game bays. We've done all the different furniture. So this is the competition. At that time, 6v6, because Overwatch was pretty big at the time. But that can be broken up to multiple Rocket League teams. We have cameras on each one. We're bringing that in. We did a small shoutcast desk for them with all the different inputs and everything. There have been a lot of great scenarios in this particular space, but we do all this work as far as building out the LED lighting, integrating it, putting those columns. We did all the custom fabrication, the electronics, and then everything's all tied back to an AV head end where we're controlling things through like Crestron, and we separate AV distribution from broadcast because there are some nuances that you have to understand within gaming. We're pretty. We try not to cross those worlds because AV, if you look at it as a traditional AV project, which a lot of people do, you're introducing elements that gamers don't like, and so lower refresh rates, lower. You're introducing latency. You're introducing a lot of these different things. But this is it's been a pretty successful program. It's won Commercial Integrator of the Year for 2023 for the esports project. So yeah, we're pretty proud of that. We're actually 2 years running in winning that title.
That was 2022.
Kane University.
Okay. Yeah, we'll definitely look at that. So these Marshall. Hey, there's Doug from CDW. Hey, I know these guys and that space.
Doug,
do you know that space, Doug? Have you been there?
Yeah. So this was in collaboration with CDWG. So
nice.
They're a great partner in working in the esports space. And Doug and his team, they're awesome. They're really amazing. Josh and Jen, Danielle, they're great.
Danielle over there
Yeah,
having fun.
yeah, yeah.
So these Marshall cameras, this lens, that lens gets it so it's do those Marshall cameras come without that lens, or that lens is to help it be able to focus and maybe get the shot of the shoulders up, or what?
Yeah, so basically almost the shots that we're looking at right now with you and I, it's
Mhm.
about that frame size. Now, there's some zoom capability and focus.
Yeah.
You could go a little wider, but the object is just to get the player, chest up, and then we can crop inside. And then we do some DVEs and some upstream keys, downstream keys, super sources, and mix and effects layers to build out some cool layouts.
Yeah. The only reason I feel at church we have those kind up on the stage, like to get a guitar shot, guitar shot.
Yeah.
And one of them has a horrible lens that you have to put it on one side of the stage just to see an okay shot of the other side of the stage guitar, because we don't have money to get another lens or whatever.
Yeah.
So okay.
Yeah. We paired those lenses up very specifically to the focal length that we wanted to get. So.
Yeah, this is pretty. This is very pretty. Great stinking work on this. So this is in North Carolina, in Greensboro. And what was their team doing before? Where were they?
I mean, they just had a room and a space that they were just competing on inside campus. There really wasn't anything. So their team was winning some titles within the leagues that they were competing in. They are now in NACE. They are now part of NACE. Prior to that, they weren't. So,
that's awesome. DJ says he's working on an esports lab for the fall at University of Wisconsin-Milwaukee. And thanks for watching the show, DJ. Thanks for being here and watching the shows. Okay, well, connect with Josh, obviously. Here, find him on LinkedIn. Yeah, and maybe help you build. Yeah, kind of what he does.
That's what I do. Yeah, so they went through the whole process. So what we call a DSA. So we walk them through the full plan design, the development, the blueprints. We looked at all the infrastructure, electrical requirements. We looked at all the spacing. We take into consideration all the league rules, regulations, everything that goes into it, because people just start designing and they're not taking into consideration some of those things. So we'll do like the renderings of the space, what it's going to look like, start to finish. So that's our process, and then we do the actual integration itself, right? We will help supply the hardware, the components, the pieces that are necessary to make all that happen.
Wow.
Yeah.
Well, it is a beautiful. Okay, so that's this one. Let's go back to your first project in University of Delaware.
Yeah. UDel.
I love this one. I definitely want to talk about. I want you to tell the story better than I tell the story about the Super Mario Brothers stuff here in a second. Because I always tell it, and I don't think I get it exactly right. But this is stinking beautiful. And this was what, 2018, 19?
We started talking to them 2018, building in 2019. Yeah.
So pretty.
Yeah. So six competitors on stage. Those are all displays, TVs, for either the POV camera or the gameplay, so that way the audience and the spectating can actually see the headshot, this shot that we're the POV shot or the gameplay. So give a lot of flexibility to the broadcast area. And then we're image mapping that wall with projection. And what's really cool is every one of those hex shapes are something different. And then when the players come out, we actually put their avatars or their headshots as they're coming out into the space. The team over there, Tony Duty and Steve and those guys, they do an amazing job with the production level.
Wow.
In that space. It's pretty cool. It's pretty cool. Yeah.
So are those there's LEDs inside of it, or it's being projected?
No, it's a projector in the ceiling. You can kind of see it. We had to do like a crazy ultra short.
I see it. Yeah, it's up here.
Yep. Yeah, and so that's shooting wide, and then we use mapping software to then map out each one of those elements.
That makes sense.
Yeah.
Wow.
And then broadcast, we're bringing in 24 SDI inputs coming into this particular project that they're managing. So they got a couple different PTZ cameras,
Blackmagic,
and then all the
PTZ.
POV cameras, and then the content from the space.
Wow, that is real pretty. And there's
And
another
then
look.
all the acoustical, yeah. So we did all the acoustical panels, designed and build them to specification in the room. You know, a testament to our team. We have a really talented team of designers and engineers and installers and project managers. It's an amazing team.
Wow. Yeah. I love that. Okay. And let's see, I've got another shot. That's a different place. So I want to go back to this. Tell me what this is. What?
Yeah.
Why?
So this was originally a conference room. That storefront glass you're seeing there did not exist. So Tony Duty from University of Delaware said, well, this is at the end of the tour and we want people to see inside of that. So we want this all storefront glass. So working with the architect, they started designing it with storefront glass, but then they all of a sudden realized that the wall that you're seeing right there was solid and actually had the return duct for the air conditioning system. And so it was a challenge, because now they're like, well, now we're gonna have to figure out how to add in a whole new return duct system. I'm like, give us a little bit of time. So we went back and worked with the architect, and I'm like, well, how much airflow, that sort of thing. And those two Mario pipes are actually the return air duct for the HVAC system. So we gave it to the engineer. We're like, is this enough flow? And they're like, oh yeah, that's more than enough. So we were able to build out the set just to be functional, to have the return duct. For the
like on the original wall, I'm guessing HVAC or vent went from the floor up and out the side of the wall?
Inside the wall. It was physically in between the wall itself, right? And so there was ductwork inside, and up at the top there was a big vent inside the room. So when you would look up, you see a big huge grate. And so when they demoed this wall, they had to take out all of that, and now they had this big hole in the ground, and they're like, we've got to be able to move that air somewhere. So
that's amazing.
That bottom box is actually connected to the return, and then those two pipes are then feeding tall enough into the room to pull that air from the top down to create airflow.
That makes sense.
So we're not AV integrators. We're net makers that are making HVAC work.
Wow.
But I mean, a testament also to the architectural team. I mean, they did a fantastic job just working through that with us.
Beautiful.
Yeah. So
let's go to Kane University here. Yeah. We got two more.
Yeah.
I'll look at Kane University. This is obviously another setup. Is that two Black Magic or constellations?
No, that's the ATEM2 ME panel. So that's the one. Stripe.
I've used that one. Yeah.
Yeah. So that's a step up from the one at UDEL. Actually, this didn't exist at the time of UDEL.
Yeah, I thought it didn't. And what's the one on the other side?
Oh, that's a lighting
okay. I see.
Yeah, that's a lighting console.
Yeah.
And then there's PTZ camera control in the middle, and then a Crestron touch panel up at the top.
Dope. And so then this is part of it.
So that's outside of the arena. This is the console area, as it says at the top, console area. So we did all of the pieces. We wanted to go for like a Tron look in this particular space. So we built all those boxes, all the lighting. It's all DMX controlled. And what's really cool is it's also set up from the reception area, that if something goes wrong, the lights actually change around each one of those TVs. So if it needs to be cleaned or something's a problem, we're then reporting back. It'll go from that tealish color to red.
Wow, that's incredible.
Yeah.
And so then inside, you've got
Yep. So we've got direct LED wall in the back. We can fit about 50 to 60 spectators. We built those custom desks, once again taking that Tron look, and then we put the LED strips in the floor, and then we made 2 levels of competition desks there.
I really like that it's 3 than 2. I like that obviously for Valorant and Overwatch for 5, but then Rocket League for 3. But then Smash you could sit the 2 right there in the middle or on the outside.
Yep, you got it.
That's amazing.
It's awesome. It's such a cool space.
Yeah, it's really neat. And so that where your logo is, that's a screen as well, a big screen.
Yeah,
Uh-huh.
yeah. That whole wall is pretty much a direct view LED
Is
wall.
that how many actual screens are there in that, or is it one large
It's
thing?
one big screen. It's one
Is it
big.
those snap thing? Well, like what am I looking
Yeah,
at? What,
so it's direct view LED. So think of it like Legos, right? So
mhm.
each panel is about 1 foot tall by 2 feet wide.
Okay.
And so they're like stacked together on top of each other just to create that one large.
Oh, okay, yeah, I see the lines here.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
I've seen those things on video, and I've seen them. I think I went to an event and watched them snap them in and out. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, it's really one of the. I mean, almost every one of our builds now includes some level of direct view LED wall in it.
It's so you can have a lot of. So you could show how many panels is that? I guess I should ask.
I'm gonna have to count 4 times, so for like 40 panels, maybe.
And so could you have 40 different things? 40 different things
No,
shown?
well, okay. So on the back end side of that, there's a processor, right?
Mhm.
So it acts as one screen. So when in the programming of the controller, we say this is the resolution, this is how big it is, this is one screen, that sort of thing. Then inside the controller, we actually layer it and bring in the different inputs. So from the broadcast switcher, all the inputs are directly output directly into the controller, and then inside the Crestron touch panel, we have presets of this is 3 and 3, and then center we can do all different kinds of configurations. So basically it's just a bunch of layers at the end of the day, and then we just have presets.
Wow.
So I think I can have up to 15 or 16 layers with this processor that we have.
Wow.
So it's a Nova Star H series, and we've moved mostly over to that now for most of our esports stuff.
Incredible. All right, let's look at this last one. It's a high school. You got some renderings for the Comets.
Yeah. So this is Hillside. This is a high school. And so this is stage 1, right? So we wanted to show the concept of like when we get into renderings, we're actually using Unreal Engine to build the rendering.
Really? Nice.
Yeah.
What room was this before, or was it?
It's a media center for them. And so and we'll talk a little about this in the curriculum in the second half, but the object is CTE, career and technical education, wrapped around hospitality, event management, production, broadcast, AV. And so there's multiple different things that are happening inside the space, and they wanted it as a smaller venue. So this is around 4,000 square feet. So they can have smaller events. So you have like the 3 direct view LED walls, and then we actually have direct view LED walls in front of all the competition desks as well, so we can show different stuff.
Oh, even your Smash setup right here in the middle.
Yeah. We took off. See that?
Oh,
yeah. See, there's 4v4, if you will, on the side, but then we took the center ones and then turn them in and face each other for a Smash tournament.
That's very much needed. I like that's just two times now here. The other one at Kane with how you set, but this is a level up. I think even the event I was in Boston, we just put a table out in the middle and put monitors on it that were different from where everybody was playing Valorant and Overwatch because the Smash app was happening, and it just didn't look as good. This looks really good. That was at the Helix Arena.
Yeah. It's really all about understanding the games. That's what it comes down to, right? Like, yes, I've played a lot of Rust and World of Warcraft and a lot of Counter-Strike. But really, when it comes down to designing these spaces, it's 2-part. It's understanding the gamers, the gaming community, and competition. That's sort of one bucket. And the other bucket is understanding, especially in these educational institutions, how education functions, right? Curriculum and CTE, career technical education, and outcomes. And so that's really always been our drive in the development of these spaces, that those 2 outcomes happen at the end of the day.
Yeah, that's beautiful. Now, where on this look, so production area for that, and shoutcasting?
Yeah, so that is actually a separate space altogether. So they have a TV studio that is right down the hall. We're doing fiber from this area down directly, And what's interesting is most of our stuff, and we could talk about this a little later, second half, is we do everything SMPTE 2110. We try to. We stick to broadcasting and SMPTE standards in all of our designs. And there's a couple reasons for that. One, separating from a network. I think that's really important to understand. And two, if we are introducing students to standards that are in the industry, we are preparing students to actually see true industry standards. Whereas if we're kind of going through, well, what people think broadcast is, are we truly doing a good job in preparing them for, our industry, the AV and production industry? And so part of our goal is having students, and that's why, like, even in UDEL and Kane, you're seeing products like at least Black Magic, right?
Yeah.
And then goes up from there, goes into Ross and some of the other stuff, so that they're getting true experience when they're sitting down in front of a true broadcast switcher.
Wow, love it. So so if you're out there and you're got lots of questions or you're excited for it, this is some amazing stuff. I'm gonna jump into a quick ad before we jump in our next part from Extron. Some good folks over at Extron. So hang out, Josh. We'll be right back from a word from Extron. So definitely visit extron.com/esports to learn more about Extron. I want to jump into esports integration. I've got your website pulled up. I want to talk about esports solutions, audio, video, the like career and opportunities, the new talent, and the industry, as well as what you guys do when your services are great. We've seen your services. Now let's get into the meat of what you guys do, and I'm going to pull up your website as we kind of talk through it. So what is esports integration?
So esports integration is a design build firm that is part of Horizon AVL. So Horizon AVL is our parent company, which is a 40-year-old AV integrator. And then esports is specifically there to help companies, institutions, K-12, higher education, to develop strategic programs. So we just don't build the solution of the space. Our goal is to build a program at the end of the day. And that is really needed in the space itself, right? So it's more than just some PCs and some furniture, which sure, absolutely, we can talk about that. But we're looking at this as an opportunity for industry outcome to prepare learners for the workforce and a career that is around the esports. So in your last episode, I know you guys were going over this with Christy and Mike, that chart that kind of identifies as esports as the center, and then here's all the industries that sort of touch on that. And so we've taken that same approach. What are the actual technical elements that esports as a vessel can teach, right? We're not teaching at the end of the day how to become a competitive gamer.
Yeah.
We're teaching what are all the supporting roles like traditional sports, right? When you watch football or basketball or any of the traditional sports, yes, the players are the things that we see first and foremost. Yeah. But what is all the industry behind that? Marketing, sports management, hospitality, broadcast, media rights, et cetera, et cetera. And there's some things that go a little deeper into esports with like coding, IT, cybersecurity, because all of those things actually touch the gaming and the esports world. So our process is to walk them through that as a solution. And there's just a lot of success because we are road mapping all of the programs. What do the next 3 to 5 years look like? How do you deal with our colleges and universities? How are you dealing with the 2025, 2026 cliff that exists with enrollment, the enrollment cliff? How are you utilizing esports to bring in individuals from that perspective? And it's UNC Greensboro is actually a good example. So from a community perspective, which was one of their goals, we had given them a statistic of, well, we are going to probably average around 50, maybe 60 people per day in the space. And they were like, I don't think that's going to happen. I'm like, you might be shocked. Right now, we're averaging over 200, close to 250 students a day. But that just goes to the understanding of gamers, the community, and what they're looking for, right? Make a space inviting, just not putting PCs in there and some RGB lighting, but make it something that is a home to them, right? It's something that's enjoyable. So our process is to take that onto consideration. You know, those 3 C's that we truly focus on, which is community, curriculum, and competition, really are at the center of every one of our builds and designs that we go through.
So I always want to learn, because I've seen you present. I remember, probably the first time I saw you present was in Seattle or something, and maybe in Houston or Austin or something, I think, about what you guys do in the sense of outside of the venue and all this stuff with CTE and curriculum. And when with your curriculum, walk me through as a trying to be nerdy curriculum writer myself, which I'm not. I want to understand, like, with your curriculum, what is the pathway, and what are you guys studying? I know I'm going to pull up this roadmap here, and I'd love for you to talk about this roadmap you guys have.
So, so this is really expanded. This is actually getting updated right now. So, nice. This is an older version, but the concept still applies. So our process in a K-12 scenario is from a middle school perspective is to walk them through the fundamentals of understanding the gaming and esports industry. And then in a high school setting, now we have to focus and we have to point more towards CTE, career and technical education. And so the first 2 years of high school, we are covering all the industries, everything that's supporting it, and we're walking them through a pacing over 2 years. It's like a year and a half, I should say, of what are all we're exposing them to the different industries. We're introducing them to it. Okay. Because they really don't know what they don't know. So we want to give them a good idea. Like they see content creation, they see influencers, but they don't necessarily know what goes all into an influencer. Or they watch an esports tournament, they don't know what goes into an event like that. And so we take the time for the first 2 years as an elective to walk them through that. Then coming into to the end of their sophomore year, into their junior and senior year, then there's a scaffolding approach that we take that then focuses on a career and technical educational element. So in our course catalog that we have, you know, it is, and you're seeing some of this, you know, film, broadcast, that sort of thing, and they can then focus their efforts utilizing esports as the vessel, the vehicle to then learn those skill sets. And so we have courses that are everything is industry focused, right? Everything that we do is industry focused. So in broadcast, we are talking, and I noted this in the first segment, about SMPTE standards. One of the things that we're seeing is a lot of people will run to, like, in schools, NDI, and that's familiar to a lot of people. But is NDI a broadcast standard? And that can be argued. We come from a point and say, well, not really, because when you're talking about broadcast and we're talking about SMPTE and the SMPTE 2110 standards that exist out there, that's all networking IP and broadcast. So now you're bringing into our AV world, and we've done this, and this is with a lot of product. This isn't just with broadcast. It's an understanding of networking.
Right.
How do you set up VLANs? How
Right.
do you set up multicasting traffic flows? How are you setting up all these things that are extremely important? Yes, NDI is a networking protocol, but if you're getting into some of the more complicated elements of understanding all the different bandwidths that we deal with from a broadcast perspective, and then separating them out so we're not interfering with competition, that is key.
That
And
is, yeah.
and a lot of people don't understand it because they're looking at it from an AV project. Oh, this is an AV project. Well, yeah, okay. Arguably, there are some elements that are AV in nature, but you're also dealing with competitors, and you're dealing with gamers that are gaming from home, and they're used to their rig. They're used to certain things. They're used to the refresh rate. They're used to, and when you start introducing things like broadcast and some of these other things that exist, you're introducing things that they're not accustomed to. It can introduce slower frame rates and those sort of things. So our process is make sure from a career and technical perspective, understand what those pitfalls are, and then how do you then design around that, learn around it, and put an event on that meets all those standards.
Wow.
So students are walking away with true industry understanding. Part of the curriculum that we go through in the live production side of things is, well, how do you bring on an event? Who are all the different stakeholders? How do you actually do hospitality, event management, production? Are you going through a run of show? What are all those run of show elements? And then how are you working with like marketing teams and graphic teams and all these things that exist in a real LAN management? And that's, we're really fortunate to have. We work with the team from Shenandoah University. They started the Shenandoah program. Joey Greziak, he's one of the co-founders of Edge, with Chris Scroggins and Zach Harrington. They have written this curriculum with all of our industry input around their experience from one of what I feel is one of the best programs that has started this whole thing at a collegiate level. And now they're bringing it into the high school setting, and it's meeting the rigor of like level 101s and 201s from an understanding. So like there's dual credit, dual enrollment opportunities for schools. So it's really cool because the curriculum is also carrying the facility, and that's why we look at this as a solution. At the end of the day, it's a solution, and it needs to be a solution. It can't be separate, especially if you're bringing on curriculum, because if we're going to be talking about mix and effects layers, or we're going to be talking about upstream, downstream keys, priority keys, and multicasting flows and all of that, if you don't have the hardware for all that properly designed in the space, then the curriculum starts lacking a bit, and then the student outcomes become a little less than what they were or what they should be.
So when I think about schools, then colleges, high schools, what are some revenue streams that is this something that esports integration helps build or teach when it comes to revenue streams, or is it basically here's why you should? What's your revenue stream? Elevator speech on why it's possible with what you guys do.
Sure. So in the class, we talk about revenue streams from like marketing perspective, and how to get sponsorships, right? And then to look at analytics on all your streams, and then how to utilize that to build a business plan. I mean, these students at a freshman level are going through like SWOT analysis in our curriculum. They're building business plans around all this, and so part of all of that, and this is the rigor of the curriculum, is then to go back to look at, well, what is the stream doing for our team? How can we make it better? Go back, look at the analytics, kind of tear that apart and say what's good, what's not good, then build a business plan to then go to sponsorships. So we help the sponsorship conversation is kind of two sections. One, we teach on sponsorship and marketing. And so we want students to understand what that looks like to walk through sponsorship and to help develop a business plan. But then for the institutions themselves, when we look at sponsorship, sponsorship's probably one of the hardest things today to really have like an arena, because everyone's doing like there's no more first adopters, right? Esports has been around, so like there can be opportunities, and part of our branding and marketing side that we walk through is building that business plan for that institution. If you're looking for naming rights or sponsorship for streams or local sponsorships, we'll help develop a plan for that. You know, if there really isn't an opportunity. I mean, truly, there's not an opportunity for colleges, universities, and high schools to be making money off of Twitch, because there's no way you're going to be like rolling in the money. That's just it's not going to happen. Like, that's reality, right? And we've always sort of stated that, like, you can do the Twitch thing. We can help you with analytics. We can help you with some of these social media platforms. If you want to sell against that, you certainly can. There's opportunity for a ROI, but it's not going to be huge. So don't, you know, it's not, you can look at an influencer or a streamer and they're making bank on it. Well, that's all they're doing every day, all day long. And so that's their living and their livelihood. This is a little different. And so there are a lot of different ROI strategies, and we look at ROIs from an opportunity of, yes, financial, but then we look at ROI as what is the student learning and how are we preparing them for the industry, and what is their success rate, right? What's really cool about the curriculum and these are really great statistics, 93% of students that are enrolled in our curriculum are not even competing.
Ooh, is that data somewhere? Is that like you have a graphic for that?
Well, I mean, we have that data. Yeah.
Oh,
I
man.
mean,
Can we put that out? Because I will add that to our informative deck.
It's pretty impressive that students, they want to learn. I mean, wow. Right now, the students are in module, they would be, if you're a freshman, you would be in module 3 or 4 right now. And so we have it all paced out week after week. Each module is a pacing of about 3 to 4 weeks worth of time. We had one school that just went through module 3, gave us feedback, which is the history of esports. They're actually doing it again from a history perspective. Now, what student wants to go back and learn about history?
I'd love to take that class. I want to take these classes, man. Where do I sign up?
Yeah, I get that a lot. I mean, I love going back. I mean, what Edge has done from an educational perspective is phenomenal. Like, these students are so engaged in the curriculum. It is, we are seeing just that involvement. I mean, some of the students have come in and their response is, this is not what we thought. And this is way harder than what I thought it was going to be. Like, their idea was like, I'm going to play video games during school all day long. And then quickly do they realize, oh, it's not playing video games all day long. I'm actually learning a bunch of stuff. And so that it's really a testament to this approach with educators and building it out from an education perspective with an industry focus. And these students, I mean, they're just eating it up. It's great to see. Yeah. Well,
I'm on edgeconsulting.gg where some of this lives.
Yeah.
And so you let me ask that question. Yeah, like where could someone take any of these courses? Like an average Joe, do they need to be enrolled into a college to take this sort of stuff?
Well, so Edge will do so they build out curriculum for higher education institutions, and we work with them as well in building out those courses. So that's the beauty of the entire ecosystem, is there is coursework that is being done already at a higher education. So there's a pathway, right, that exists. So here in the state of New Jersey, we're doing exactly that. We're working with like Camden County College, Stockton University, Rutgers, Camden, from a higher education perspective, and that coursework is existing. So now what we're doing is, from the pathways perspective, we are working with high schools to then build that pathway, establish that in the state, and then we're working with middle schools. In most cases, we're actually seeing it backwards, where it's middle schools and then high schools, and then what are you doing, college, university, and how do we fit that? We flipped the mold upside down. We've completely flipped it. And so now we're making sure that there's a pathway. So The curriculum that we have is for sale, and we sell that to the schools through a distribution licensing model. And based on how many courses they're taking, I mean, it's everything like I sort of stated. So you've got esports level 1 and 2. Well, at a middle school level, it's like esports foundations, fundamentals that exist.
Right.
And then that can also be used for summer camps as well, that's actually an ROI opportunity.
Yeah.
For
100%.
schools. Yeah. And then high schools is esports level 1, level 2. That's the overview of all the industry, the history, etc. And then it breaks out into all these different tracks. So we're doing broadcast, film, cybersecurity, IT, marketing, content creation, computer science, IT, etc. It just breaks out from there for the next 2 years. Actually, one of the really cool courses that we're doing is an Unreal Engine course.
Ooh.
So we're doing software development, but then Unreal Engine breaks off into multiple streams from there. It's not just used to make a video game. Like it's used for Fox NFL Sunday. So all the guys like Howie and the guys, there's an Unreal Engine that's an amazing set, what Fox did. The Weather Channel uses it. Programs like The Mandalorian uses it.
Right. Yeah.
So you are now tapping into not just broadcast, but understanding how to utilize Unreal Engine for broadcast and film.
Wow.
And so it's a really cool ecosystem.
So cool. I'm loving Unreal Engine. I've messed with it.
So cool.
I've done a few things in it, and yesterday I actually got to join Steve Isaacs on the Lego Fortnite. Yeah, Lego Fortnite educator hangout. We all were working on a Lego world together in Fortnite, which I asked some questions about, like, and this is a little on topic with Unreal, but the idea of Fortnite not just being a shooting game, it's now its own solar system or universe inside the metaverse of it's got, I mean, it's obviously taking a trick from Roblox, but this idea of now I don't have to, I can have a conversation as a educator or a parent with a kid or with other parents saying the game, the 10+ game of Lego Fortnite mode in Fortnite is acceptable for my kid when the Battle Royale is not, but he's not going to play that because he's not allowed, because it won't even let him because he's not 13 or 12 or 13. So and Unreal Engine, especially the stuff you showed earlier, building Josh, the hardest thing I have with Unreal Engine is the lighting, and I think I need to go through courses. I can move boxes around and stretch stuff with the green, the blue and the red, but I am horrible at lighting.
Yeah, lighting, textures, materials, like it gets pretty deep, right? Yeah. And so, that is part of the coursework, because when you get into like film, like that's part of actually the film course. So understanding light and direction and lighting in a subject matter, and then taking that same concept and bringing that into Unreal Engine, you apply all that, right? And so that is key. That's huge to understand. Sun's here. You don't want it go over there. Oh, there's the tavern.
I found your tavern on your contact us. That is just so cool. So much fun, man. And so now, but this was how it was, and then you added like gaming setups or something, right?
Yeah. So that table's gone.
Right.
Yeah, and that deer is gone.
It's now like a dwarf from World of Warcraft.
Yeah, I'm building actually our CNC. So we have like a CNC machine. I'm building some things out there to put it.
I would love to see the Alliance dwarf up on the wall right there. The redheaded one.
Or something?
Yeah, Bronzebeard. Yeah.
All right.
and just walking around doing Cartman's voice. Be perfect.
The sword of 1,000 truths.
Stan. Oh. Man, this is fun. This is good. I hope people out there are seeing like the opportunities, especially in the AV space.
Yeah.
Outside of just working in education and in schools with just saying, hey, we're going to build you a room so you can have computer classes, or you can do media, or you can do other things. But ideally, this multi-purpose way of, like you showed at the high school, I think was extremely amazing media space, because you had room for multiple things. And so yeah, the AV space is I recommend you almost exclusively all the time. And I think I have the story of the
pipes.
the pipes. I have it right.
Yeah.
I don't think I was telling it wrong. I just didn't understand where the air was coming from, but now I understand where it's coming from.
Now you know where the air's going.
Now I know. Yeah, it's not hot air. It's air. Well, I guess it is hot air going back down, right?
It is hot air.
Well, cool.
But yeah, it's final. Just I guess
please.
maybe final thought.
You have the floor.
I have the floor. Is this the final thought segment?
Hot seat.
Hot seat. It's really authentic esports. That's what it comes down to, and in these projects, that's what we want to give these students and these learners. Approaching it just from an AV project, I think it's really doing an injustice to the learner, because it is, if it's looked at as an AV project only, it really doesn't give opportunities for the student to hone in on their craft and that sort of thing. We do look at it from a learning perspective, but then also understanding competition, right? Understanding the gamer, the community, the competition. That is the biggest thing. If you don't have a gamer on staff and you're trying to, I know this is sort of to the industry and that sort of thing. The advice is, get a gamer that has gamed and truly has gamed, because they will talk the language. These students that are coming into these spaces, whether higher education or K-12, like, they're the consumers. They understand it better than the administration does. And so if you're coming in and you're designing stuff, they're going to be able to sniff it out right away and say, well, that's not authentic gaming in esports. That's just kind of this, this side thing. So, we want to give these students an understanding and experience, and we don't want to hinder, competition, understanding league rules and all those. I mean, there's so much that has to go into building an esports space. And it's a lot of thought, and it should be propped up for a successful deployment at the end of the day. And that really has always been our mission. So that's sort of final thoughts that
Nice.
I have.
Love it. We'll stick around in the control room here for a bit, and I'll shut down the show, and we'll figure out a time when we can play some video games together. I'll download the finals, obviously.
Yeah.
And I'm gonna be stuck on that game now, since I've
welcome.
Been way too into Lego Fortnite. I was into League of Legends for a good few months, then Lego Fortnite. Now I guess it'll be finals. It's fine.
You're welcome.
All right, man.
All right, man.
Appreciate you, sir. See you in a minute.
Appreciate you.
All right, everyone. Thank you so much for being here. Once again, big shout out to our sponsors, Extron and Neutrik. We're going to show an ad for Neutrik here soon, but I just want to make sure you knew about the professional AV products and Power Esports. The Power Esports, a wide range of venues, including multi-purpose spaces, which we kind of talked about today, dedicated facilities and gaming arenas on campus. Extron helps provide those esports and AV products, designs, and expertise to provide a winning edge. Now, you can check more about them at extron.com/esports. You can check out Josh, all his stuff. He is on Twitter at AV Howl. What is it, Josh? On Twitter? AVL Kel. There we go. All right, AVL Kel. There we go. All right. And also on LinkedIn under Joshua Kel. So please connect with him. If you're looking to build an arena, definitely check it out. But we're going to check out a quick ad from Neutrik. So thank you once again for being here today for our fourth episode from the rAVe Esports Show with me, Bubba Gaeddert. Please stick around in January and February and March as we have some more shows, some more episodes with some great guests and some great topics, especially around the audiovisual space. We'd love to hear from you. If you'd like to be a guest, you can reach out to me. You can reach out to those at rAVe Pubs or rAVe Agency. And we hope to see you next time. But stay amazing. We'll see you later. Bye.